So hey guys, in my 100 subscriber video, I asked you guys what you wanted to see more on my channel, and only 2 of you commented. To be honest, I've got a lot of requests to do more vlogs, and not just the 2 comments, but a few of my friends that watch my videos have actually came up and told me to do more vlogs, and I'm actually on board with that. I find them enjoyable, you guys find them entertaining. They're short, they're easy to edit. So yeah, I plan on doing more of them. So for my next vlog, I wanted to do a video about being homeschooled, because if you don't know, I'm homeschooled. But the problem was, after recording it, I kind of felt like it was just really bad. I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But anyways, a few days ago I was debating on whether I should edit and post a video, or maybe I could see if it was okay or not. And it just so happens that the day after recording that video, when I was debating on whether to post it or not, was the first day of this year for my summer job. If you guys don't know, last year I got a lifeguarding job, and it kind of started around when I started making YouTube videos. And so I met my old boss, I did some work, and it really brought some old memories back. So I thought, hey, why not make a video on lifeguarding? I mean, that's a pretty interesting subject. I have a lot to say about my lifeguarding job. So let's dive on in. Wait, you're not supposed to dive when you're a lifeguard. You're supposed to jump in. Diving in makes you... So anyways, when I was searching for jobs last year, lifeguarding actually wasn't my plan. You see, I heard from someone that I knew that a lot of camps were trying to find camp or assistant camp counselors. So he told me about this Christian camp, and if you don't know, I'm a Christian. And so I thought this would be a really good job. I mean, I like kids. I like camps. Well, I don't like camping, but basically I just thought this would be a lot of fun. So yeah, I went in, I had an interview with the counselor, and I think it went pretty well. But I wasn't hired, and I think Mom told me later that they're probably more likely to hire people that have been going to that camp for years than people who haven't, and I guess that makes a lot more sense. And with no ideas for a job that summer, I thought, hey, why not take a lifeguarding course that's happening near me? So yeah, we got some of my friends to come with me and do it, and the lifeguarding test is actually really hard. So first off, you have to get this lifeguarding training course from the Red Cross. And the first part is online, and you have to basically read the rules. And they teach you stuff like how to save people when they're drowning, and even some stuff that you wouldn't think lifeguards would do, like how to save people when they're having a heart attack, how to save people when they're infected with bloodborne pathogens? I think I'm using that word right. And so, being a procrastinator, I prolonged doing it for a really long time. And 3 days before the real life part of the test was going to start, a friend told me, oh, that online course was so hard. What are you talking about? What do you mean it was so hard? I think it's like 40 hours or something. What? Okay. 40 hours might have been an exaggeration. I don't actually remember how long it took, but to be honest, it took me almost 3 whole days to go through all the material. So I finished up the online stuff, and the real life stuff actually wasn't as hard. They had us demonstrate a few jumps to show that we knew them, and us doing CPR and other stuff. Yeah, I need to have a refresher course again. But really, I passed. I did pretty well, and it really wasn't that hard. And there was a few crazy things I actually learned while taking the test. Number 1, when you first get contacts, I'm wearing contacts right now, they say not to swim in underwater and open your eyes because they worry that your contacts will fly out. But during my lifeguarding test, they said, oh, you have to open your eyes underwater, by the way, to actually grab the people off the bottom of the pool. So I went down to save them, and actually my contacts stayed in the entire time. I mean, sure, they went all a little wibble wobbly, but other than that, it went pretty well. The other cool thing I learned about in the CPR test was, you know how in most cases of CPR, when you're trying to fill a person's lungs, you go mouth to mouth and you're well, actually, they have this device, and I don't know what it's called currently, but it's this thing that goes over your mouth, and then it goes like this, and there's a tube at the end that you can just blow into, so you don't even have to have mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. The final thing I actually learned in the test was not very fun. You see, what happened was at the end, they wanted to make sure that you were a strong swimmer and like basically fit to lifeguard. What they wanted you to do was, I don't remember how many laps it was, but they wanted you to swim a certain number of laps. This is pretty big. Let's say 30. And so, being the person that I am, I want to make sure that I always get the instructions right. No matter how annoying my asking is, I always make sure that I understand what they're saying. I swim up and I ask her, hey, do you mean laps as in back and forth one time, or do you mean laps as in just down and then that's a lap and then back and that's 2 laps? And she didn't give me a clear answer, and in my mind, I thought this was a lap where you go forward and then you come back and that's 1 lap. But apparently it was just you go down, that's a lap, you go back, that's a lap. So yeah, everyone finished early before me and I was just like, how is everyone already done? I'm so tired. How is everyone such a better swimmer than me? Yeah, I was so tired I had to do backstroke. And while I was doing that, a lifeguard interrupted me halfway through and he's like, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I start swimming again. And he stops me near the end of my laps and goes, you know you're doing double the laps, right? And I'm not exaggerating that breathing pattern. That's how tired I was. Anyways, yeah. Whew, that was lifeguarding training. Now we get into the actual job part of the thing. So me and my family went around to the internet looking for lifeguarding jobs. And it seemed that the local college that we live near actually had some lifeguarding positions open. And so one of my friend's moms knew the lifeguard, and actually some of her daughters worked for the head lifeguard there. The head lifeguard is also, I think, like, the head swim coach of the college's swim team. And so anyways, this mom contacts the coach and she says, you should hire Jasown, okay? He's a hard worker, he's really good, I've seen him in action. And so we go in, and it was really not an interview. We knock on his door, and after a while, he doesn't open it. But eventually we go to, like, the receptionist, and she goes, oh yeah, you can just go in, he's already in. We go in, and he's not waiting in his office, and so we walk around into the pool, and he's working with these 2 girls. I think he was training them to be lifeguards or something because they were like treading water. We come in and he's just like, oh, Jasown, hi, here, come here. We talked to him while he was training these girls, and basically, what he basically said was, okay, so here's what you're gonna do when you're a lifeguard. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. He didn't even go through the interview process. He was just basically like, alright, you're a lifeguard now. And so for that whole summer, I worked there. It was actually very uneventful, which is pretty good for a lifeguarding job. I mean, when you're a lifeguard, you'd much rather be bored the entire time watching people instead of saving people constantly. Plus, there's a lot of paperwork when you're done saving people. So yeah, the good news was, yes, it was really boring, but it was really boring. I had to find ways to entertain myself, and although you're supposed to be watching everybody in the pool from your chair, there were 3 of us on guard at a time, and there were only 2 chairs, so we'd be trading in, and one of us would be taking like, I think a 20-minute break, I don't remember. And since I didn't have much schoolwork left from my homeschooling, I didn't have much to do. I'd bring in books once in a while, but sometimes I forgot my book. And so I had a few strategies to battle boredom on and off break. So the first thing I do is when I'm on break, if I don't have a book on me, I find a tennis ball, because apparently there were tennis balls at the pool I worked at, and I'd throw it against the wall. And so after I threw it against the wall, and was catching it a pretty good enough time, which never really happened, I'd throw it against the wall and try doing different techniques. So like, I'd throw it against the wall like this, like this, and then try to catch it like this, and throw it like this, and try to catch it like this. And so I tried to see how long I could keep that up before like my break ended or I messed up again. Another thing I would do in the chair, I find pretty fun. So what I'd try to do is I'd look over at the other lifeguard in the chair very discreetly, and I'd quickly look over and turn away. And what I'd do is I'd try to memorize what their position was in the chair and I would copy them. But I tried to make sure that it was discreet so I wouldn't know I was copying them, because that'd be a little weird. What was annoying was the other lifeguards were girls, so sometimes they'd like have this really dainty posture. Alright, so guys, they sit like this, like with their legs crossed like this, but girls sit with their legs crossed like this, like with their knee bent and their leg pointed down. And so I didn't really want to do that. So sometimes I'd skip out on the copying. Another thing I did was I'd look at the swimmers, which helped me focus on them more, and I'd pretend they're racing. Like, one person would be outlapping this other person. And so I'd try to see like how many laps a one person would do before another person finished their one lap. Speaking of swimmers, one thing I learned when I was lifeguarding was, you know how like when you walk into a store and you're like, oh, these people, these store clerks won't remember me. I don't come here a lot. Well, they do. You see, when you really have nothing to do, you kind of remember everyone who comes in. And there were a lot of regulars, which was really nice. There was this one middle-aged man who came in to practice swimming. Like, he already knew how to swim. He was practicing professional swimming. And so sometimes he'd come in with his instructor, and sometimes he'd bring a friend that he was teaching how to swim. There was this one older lady that came in like every morning, and she'd swim back and forth to get exercise, and she was like a talkative person. It was really fun. There was also this family that came in a lot, like not often, but like maybe every other week, maybe every month. And sometimes there were a lot of adults and one kid, sometimes there were a lot of kids and one adult, but like they'd come in and they basically play. And man, kids make it a lot more interesting when you're working at a pool. You see, adults come in and they have a set plan. They're just gonna swim back and forth for exercise or for fun or be boring. And it's rare some adults come in with their friends and like they play stupid games. But kids, when they come in, it is guaranteed to be at least more entertaining than the average adult. Some kids dive off the diving board. Some kids swim to the bottom of the pool, come back up. Some kids play catch. Some kids run on the deck. Yeah, the floor around the pool is called the deck for some reason, which doesn't really make any sense. I mean, I guess you could say that I got it from a boat, but then why is there water in the boat? So anyways, yeah, last year eventually ended, and my lifeguarding job ended with it. But strangely enough, when I'd see people, they'd go, Jasown, how's your job? I don't know if I have a job, because my lifeguarding job's in the summer, and I don't know if I'm having it again this summer. So eventually, summer came back around again. I mean, it's almost summer right now. And so my mom kept bugging me about, hey, why don't you email your old boss and see if your lifeguarding job is still on? I kept putting it off. I didn't really want to email him, not because I was lazy, not because I didn't like him. I didn't feel like it was the time to start emailing someone about summer. Eventually, I did send that email to him, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in working at the pool this summer again. Are you still hiring? And he's like, consider yourself hired. He eventually told me to come into work on Wednesday, which was a few days ago. So I come in on Wednesday, and my boss isn't there until the actual time he set. I was there a little early. So I'm sitting on the bench waiting for him, and there's this guy sitting next to me, and he's playing on his phone, and I'm just like, huh, I wonder what he's waiting for. And there was this small thought in the back of my mind, what if he's a new lifeguard? Maybe I should say hi. But I didn't until his dad came in, and he's like, is the boss here yet? And so I'm like, oh, so you're waiting for the head lifeguard? Yeah, I know him. And so eventually he does come in, and he opens the door, and he eventually introduces me to the other kid who actually was the new lifeguard. And apparently I met him before at soccer, but the time that I was at soccer and the time that he was at soccer barely intersected. Like, I left kind of when he started joining. So yeah, my head lifeguard put us to work. We first started sitting in the chairs, watching him and another person just swim across a few times. They get out of the pool, and they tell us that, okay, you can get off the chairs now. And after we got out of the chairs, he put us to work ripping duct tape off the wall. So what some college students did that school year was they made in duct tape the name of the school, the name of the swim team, and the numbers 2018. And actually it was a pretty good bonding experience. And now I think I feel like I know him more than the other lifeguards that I worked with last year. Also, yellow duct tape's a lot easier to pull off than purple duct tape. You just note that for future reference. So yeah, I think my summer job's gonna be pretty good this year. I might make a video about it when the year's done, if I have any good stuff to talk about. We're gonna start out, I think, by the time this video uploads, this week actually. So that's really all I have to say. Hopefully that homeschooling video will come out soon, but anyways, thank you for watching. I feel so much better about this video, and I will see you in the next video.